Welcome to CG Dive. In this video, we'll take a look at the Mixamo add-on for Blender. It was released a couple of months ago, and it is pretty awesome considering that it is a completely free tool. Mixamo allows us to do cool stuff already. We can rig a character online using the Mixamo tools. Then we can apply to it any of hundreds of animations available on Mixamo and bring it back to Blender. However, with the add-on, we can also give our character a control rig while keeping the Mixamo animations intact. And the control rig was a missing piece of the puzzle when using Mixamo, which is why people wanted to transfer these Mixamo animations to Rigify or AutoRig Pro or other custom rigs. Right now on CG Dive, I'm working on a series about retargeting, and that is the process of transferring an animation from one rig to another rig. When you learn retargeting properly, you have a lot of freedom to transfer animations from any source rig to any target rig. So if that's something that you would like to learn about, check out my retargeting playlist. But for people who want to keep things simple, this Mixamo add-on can be a great alternative. The obvious limitation, of course, is that you can only use rigs and animations from Mixamo itself. With that in mind, let's get started. So of course, first we need to get the Mixamo add-on. You can get it from this link, which I'm going to share with you. And when you get here, just click on Get the Add-on, and a zip file will be downloaded. Do not unzip this file, just place it somewhere where you can find it. Then go to Blender, Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, Install. Find your add-on, install it, and activate it. That's it, just like any other Blender add-on. And here in the add-on options, you can change the tab where Mixamo will appear. I'll keep the default Mixamo tab and close this window. And now we can go to the Mixamo tab, and here are the add-on features. And the Create Control Rig button is where the magic happens, but it's important to understand which rigs can be converted to control rig with this feature and which cannot. Otherwise, you may end up being confused. And I watched all tutorials that are currently available about this add-on, and none of them mentions these pitfalls. So one obvious way to get Mixamo characters and animations is to go to the Mixamo website. This service is free, but you're going to need to sign up for it. So if you don't have an account, sign up. I already have one, so I'm going to log in. Once I'm logged in, I can start choosing my character and my animations. And to show you the problem, I'm going to choose two characters. First, go to character and search for ninja. And I'm going to choose this ninja model. Apply some animation to it. Any animation is fine. Maybe this one. And then I'm going to download it with these default settings. Okay, then I'm going to go back to characters and search for bot. And I'm going to choose the Xbot. Okay, and it will have the same animation already applied, so I'm going to download it again. Okay, and now in Blender, I'm going to actually open another instance of Blender. And let's have them side by side like this. And in the first one, I'm going to import FBX. Go to the folder where I downloaded these files. And now Mixamo names these files with the name of the animation that you used. So both of them will be named the same. But the first one that I downloaded was the ninja. So I'm going to import it here. And here it is, the ninja. And in the other instance of Blender, I'm going to import FBX again. Select the second file that I got from Mixamo. And I'm going to import it. And by the way, I'm using the default FBX settings. I'm not changing anything here. So import FBX. Here we have our bot as well. And in both files, we have the same animation. Okay, and now let's select the rig of the ninja. Go to the Mixamo tab and create control rig. I'll just use the default settings. And as you can see, it worked. We have the animation still, but we have these arms in IK mode. And legs in IK mode, and these spine controls, head controls, and so on. I'm going to go over them in more detail a little bit later. But now let's go to the other instance of Blender, select the rig only, go to the Mixamo tab, and again, create control rig. Press OK, and we'll get an error. And so let's undo, and also undo here. And let's go to wireframe mode so that we can see the skeleton of these characters. So as you can see the skeleton of the ninja, maybe if I go to a rest position, you'll see that all bones are kind of oriented in a good way, in a proper way. Whereas the bot rig has these weirdly oriented bones. They still work. If I rotate them, they're going to deform the character correctly, but the orientations are all wrong. So there is one thing that you can do. If I just delete this character that I have and then import again FBX, I'm going to select the bot FBX, and on the armature, I'm going to enable automatic bone orientation and import FBX. And now in pose position, you'll see that the rig looks much better. The bones are mostly oriented correctly. So let's go back to pose position and try to create control rig. And this time we didn't get an error. It seems to work, but you can see that the legs are inverted incorrectly and the arms as well. So the conclusion is that some characters, which you can download directly from Mixamo, you will be able to create control rig for them, but others won't work. And the reason for that is that there are a couple of different rigs really on Mixamo. Even though all of them are humanoid and look very similar, there are a couple of different specifications. They probably come from different iterations of the software. I honestly don't know which characters have the right rig and which don't, and I don't want to download and test all of them. And so we need a better solution. So there is one thing that works reliably, and that is uploading your own unrigged character into Mixamo, rigging it with the Mixamo rigging tools, and that will create the exact rig structure that the add-on can work with. So you can use your own humanoid characters, or if you absolutely want to use one of the Mixamo characters, then you should download it, remove its rig, and then upload it back to Mixamo unrigged and rig it again. Here I have a custom model that I'm going to be using for demonstration, and you'll see that I have it in T-pose or A-pose. So you can use either of these as your default pose. Either will work fine. So I'm going to go with the T-pose. So I'm going to place this character in the center of the world, select it, and then I'll go to File, Export, FBX, and then in the settings, I'm only going to tick selected objects. And that way I'll only export the object that I selected and all other objects will be ignored. And then I'm going to export my model. Then let's go back to Mixamo, click Upload Character, grab the FBX that I exported and drop it in here. Then you'll get this view. Make sure that your character is pointing forward, that you can see the face of the character. Click Next, and then rig it with the Mixamo tools, which are very simple and very intuitive. Just place the chin, the wrists, elbows, knees, and groin, and click Next. And this process can take around 2 minutes, but when it's done, you'll have a rigged and weighted character. Okay, here we have a little test animation that should show us if the process was successful, and it seems good, so press Next. And here we have a new character playing the animation that we chose. Of course, we can go back to Animations and choose another one. This one, for example. And now I'm going to download this character with the default settings. I'll go back to my Blender scene and simply create a new scene. I'll start over. And now I can import my FBX. Import FBX, dropkick, and I'll import with the default settings. If I take a look at my armature, it is looking good. The bones seem to be oriented correctly, even though I didn't touch the FBX import settings. So now I can select this armature, go to Mixamo, and let's go back to pose position and click Create Control Rig. With the default settings, press OK. And there we go, we have our animation, but we also have our control rig that we can use to maybe fix this animation, improve it, change it, or we can keep creating custom animations. And that's all you need to do if you just want one single animation. However, it will be more common that you want to use a bunch of different Mixamo animation on this same rig. So here is what you could do. Let's undo, switch to pose position, and now I'm going to click Zero Out Rig. And what this do is important. It will completely delete your current animation. It will delete all keyframes and so on, and it will place your character in the rest position. From this position, I'm going to create the control rig. And let's talk about these options. Apply animation. If you already had an animation on this rig, then it will be automatically applied to the control rig. In this case, we don't have any animation, so this option doesn't matter. And then we have IK arms or IK legs. And you don't need to overthink these options. This will just set the default settings, but you'll be able to switch from IK and FK at any time. So I'll uncheck IK arms because it is common for arms to be in FK mode. I'll keep IK legs and press OK. And here is our rig. We have a root control, hips control, spine controls, shoulder. The arms are currently in FK mode, so I can move them as FK limbs. I can manually rotate each part of the arm. And the legs are in IK mode, which means that I can grab them here and move the foot and the leg will follow. And we also have this pull target to orient the knee. We have a few more controls. This one will lift the foot while keeping the toes on the ground. This one controls only the toes. And this one, which you have to move actually, you don't rotate this gizmo, you move it. And if you move it up and down, you get this motion. So you can place the character on its toes or on its heel. And if you move it left and right, you get this roll of the foot. Okay, I'll select all, clear all transforms. And that's basically it. We have a neck control and a head control, very simple. And as I said, you can switch between IK and FK arms and legs at any point. So if I just select one of the arm controls, doesn't matter which one, I can go to the Mixamo rig settings and switch this value to 0, and that will give me IK hands. Again, I have a pull target, and I can do the same on the other side. Okay, and the legs can also be switched to FK. But usually you'll want the feet in IK, so I'll switch back to IK. And I'll select all and again clear all transforms to bring my rig in the default position. And that's it for the control rig overview. It is fairly simple, but still quite powerful. Now, one last thing, if you want to change the shape or size of any of these widgets, you can select it and press Edit Control Shape, and that will place you in edit mode. You can then scale down the gizmo or move any of its vertices or do any modeling operations that you want. And once you're done, simply press Apply Control Shape. And now your shape will have this shape. Functionally, it is exactly the same. Okay, now we know how to create a control rig. We also understand when this operation will work and when it may fail. And so now, how do we use Mixamo animations on this rig? So I still have the original FBX animation that I downloaded for this rig. So let's import it again. Import FBX. And here is the dropkick. Import it. Move it to the side, and here I don't really need the character anymore, so I can delete it. And then in the animation section, I'm going to use the eyedropper, select the new armature that I got, and then select the control rig, and I'll press Apply Animation to Control Rig. And now I have this animation applied to this control rig. And if I want more animations, I can just go back to Mixamo, select another animation, download it, and this time I can choose without skin, and that will make my download a little bit lighter. Download, and to make sure that these animations that we download now will work with our control rig, you have to make sure that you are using this character, this same character. Do not change the character. Keeping that in mind, let's choose another animation and download it again without skin. And another one, download without skin. Okay, you can download as many animations as you want. Now I can go to Import, FBX, and I can actually control click all the animations that I want to import and press Import FBX. And that way all animations will be imported with one click. And now to apply more animations to my control rig, all I need to do is remove this current source skeleton, pick another one, select my control rig, and apply animation. Okay. Then I'll pick the next one, select my control rig, apply animation. And the last one, and apply the animation. Okay, and now I'm going to edit my interface a little bit. I'm going to create a dope sheet and switch to Action Editor. And finally, I'll create one more window and switch it to NLA. I like to enable the selected only option in here. Okay, now we have actually 4 animations that will work with this control rig. But in this current state, only the active one will be saved, and all other animations will actually be deleted when we close and open this file again. So there are steps that we need to take to prevent this. One way to do this is to use the shield icon for each of our actions. So I'm going to do this for the active action. And I also want to rename it. So this is a vampire bite, supposedly. Then I need to find another animation that works with this control rig. Okay, I'll name this one jump and save it with the shield icon. Okay, this is the jab and save it. And this is the goalkeeper action. I'll rename it and save it. So this is how we add animations to a control rig. Now I don't need these mocap armatures anymore, so I can select them and delete them. And now that we have multiple animations for this rig, we can also combine them, and that will happen in the NLA. So for example, I can choose the vampire bite animation and press push down, which will place this animation in the NLA. And right now it's not visible because I have to select my rig. When I have this selected only option enabled, then only the NLA strips for the selected rig will be visible. And then I can switch the active action to something else, like the goalkeeper, and push it down as well. And the NLA can be very powerful. I'm not going to go into detail here because I already made 2 videos about the NLA. You can watch them, and everything I mentioned there will be applicable for this control rig. And also in the retargeting series, we'll be talking about tweaking and changing your retargeted animations. And in those videos, I'll be talking about the NLA again. But really quickly, we can kind of combine these animations. For example, I'm going to make the goalkeeper happen after the vampire bite. So if we play now, we'll get something like this. And now there is a harsh transition between the two, but if we go to the end panel here, strip, and we change the blend in option, then these 2 animations will blend in nicely. As you can see, there is no harsh transition anymore. And really quickly, I'm going to show you how to create tweak layers. If I create a new action, and in here, in the NLA, I'm going to select the new action and set the blending to add. And this additive layer is a great way to change parts of your animation. So in this case, for example, I could select the hands and the hips control, and I'm going to add a new keyframe for them. And then I'll go a little bit further into the animation, and let's say that I want to lower the body of this character. So I'll just lower it and add another keyframe. And then a little bit later, I'll bring it back up, add keyframe. And if we play through, you'll see that the body of the character went down. I can now push down this action as well. And in here, if I select the new action and press H in the NLA, then you can see the difference that this new layer made. But okay, let's stop here with the NLA. Again, I'll be making more videos about that, and I'll try to make sure that these workflows about tweaking animations and changing them make perfect sense. While we're here, I can show you the bake animation option. And right now, if I click on it, I'll get an error. And that is a little bit weird. It looks like a minor bug. It's not really a bug, it works, but to make it work, I have to create a new action here, which is action 002, and now I can press bake animation and it's going to work. However, it is going to create a new action for it. And that makes no sense. It asks you to create a new action, but then it creates another one. But anyway, what this feature does is It takes all of the actions that we had combined in the NLA and it bakes them into a new single action. So now if I play through this, you'll see that it is exactly what I had in the NLA, but it is baked to a different action, to a separate action. I think we covered almost all features of the add-on. It kind of features a GLTF export, which I think is the same as going to file export GLTF. So it looks kind of random in here. I'm not sure why they decided to add it. Something else that we haven't talked about yet is the snap features. So if I have my hand in FK mode, I can use the snap IK FK feature, and that will snap the inactive mode to the active mode. So if we are in IK mode like here and use this feature, then the add-on will switch to FK mode and snap the FK controls to the current position of the arm. And we also have a way to bake the entire action from one set of controls to another set of controls. So for example, in this case, this arm is in IK mode, and here is the action of the arm in IK mode. If I use this feature and press OK, it will bake the entire action for this arm in FK mode. So here now the arm is in FK mode, but I have the same action. And I can switch between IK and FK mode and the arm won't change. That is because the exact same action is baked on both set of controls. Which reminds me, when you press the Apply Animation to Control Rig button, then the add-on will bake the action on whichever control is active at the moment. So if you're in IK mode, it will be baked on the IK control, and if you're in FK mode, it will be baked on the FK controls. But with this feature, you have the option to bake the other set of controls as well. Okay, that's it for the Mixamo add-on. I think we covered all of its features, and I hope you do something cool with it. CG Dive is supported by its Patreon and Gumroad supporters. If you want to join them, that will make it much easier for me to bring more content to you. But simply liking, subscribing, and commenting on these videos is also immensely helpful. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.